So we've covered the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra versus the 16 Pro Max, the OnePlus 13, and the S24 Ultra, but we haven't compared it against the Pixel 9 Pro XL, so let's go ahead and do a speed test comparison between these two flagship phones. So what is up guys, Nick here helping you to master your technology. Let's go ahead and begin a boot up test on both of these phones in 3, 2, go and see which one can get there first. Now we do have a Snapdragon 8 Elite custom for Galaxy on the left, 12 gigabytes of RAM, Adreno 830 GPU. We also do have One UI 7 with Android 15, and it does have a Tensor G4 on the right on the Pixel. We also do have 16 gigs of RAM, so more than the Samsung on the right. In addition, we have a Mali GPU, Android 15 on both, so this is going to be a pretty tight comparison in terms of they're both up to date. However, the Pixel is a little bit behind with a 4nm G4 and not even being a Snapdragon chip, so I'm expecting the Galaxy to be a little bit quicker, but we'll have to see how this plays out. So far the Pixel takes the first win in the boot up test over the Galaxy. However, how many times are you booting up your phone? There is settings in the Samsung where you can actually set it to auto reboot overnight, so you can actually have it kind of refresh the system without actually having to do it yourself, which can actually help performance stay pretty fresh day to day. So when it comes to biometrics, both of them do have face unlock where you can kind of just look at the phone and be right in. You see in the Samsung was pretty quick right there. The Pixel, same thing. Once you look at it, it kind of just knows you're right there and you can get right in. Now, they also both have ultrasonic fingerprint sensors, so those are going to be housed in pretty similar locations, kind of like right dead center where you would want it to be, and both of them do unlock very quickly. So I think in terms of kind of like unlocking these phones, there's really no major difference whatsoever. What is majorly different though is the way they feel in the hand. The Samsung, now more rounded, is more comfortable with really flat sides. However, the Pixel still has, I would argue, a little bit more of a comfortable design. It's way more rounded in the corners, so definitely that's a nice touch. However, so far it looks like unlocking the phones are pretty much the same. General day-to-day performance when scrolling through, I have to say I do think the Samsung is starting to look a little bit better. The Pixel is still very smooth and nice, but the overall like speed combined with newer animations and fluidity is starting to look smoother to me on the Samsung. There's a little bit more, I feel like I see a little bit more like choppier look to the Pixel, so I think they need to kind of like update the animation style or something, or just kind of like the way it runs along. The Samsung tends to run along the software a little faster though, so if you like a slower, more visually pleasing look, I do think the Pixel might still be your preference. It kind of reminds me more of like an iPhone when it comes to like the way it goes along the software versus the Samsung, which kind of feels very speedy and fast. So it's really up to you on what you prefer. All right, so everything is closed out for both phones. Let's go ahead and begin with Google News. And you've seen that was faster on the left. Let's go ahead and hit technology. And you'll see loading quicker on the left. So far the Galaxy quicker. Let's go ahead and swipe out. And let me know which animation you tend to prefer. Let's go into Play Store. I personally think the Samsung's animations on One UI 7 look smoother than the Pixel. They look a little nicer to me. But this scrolling is a little bit slower, and sometimes it's a little more jumpy on the Samsung, so they kind of trade there. Let's go into X. I still think that like after, Oxygen OS 15 brings smoother animation, Samsung now bringing smoother animations with One UI 7, I want to see Google update their look and feel as well this year, because they have always been, to me, one of the smoother phones out there, the Pixel series. But they kind of haven't changed the way it looked in a while, so I like to see a change there, make it a little bit smoother than the competition. So that makes me excited for the Pixel 10 series. But so far, opening these apps at a similar clip here. And you've seen Samsung a little faster there, swiping out. We'll go on to YouTube, and we'll go over here. We were in a shorts right there. So let me go ahead and go over here to trending. And we'll kind of see what's popping off over here. We'll scroll over to movies. We'll scroll down. We'll go into gaming. And as we scroll through, you'll see pretty close. Again, I feel like the Pixel scrolling is slightly slower, maybe for a visually pleasing effect. That Samsung scrolling really flies though. Both of them pretty good though in this respect. Keep in mind the Samsung does cost a couple $100 more, so we can't be too harsh. Like if the Pixel loses on some of these, it is more. You're paying more for the Ultra phone, so don't expect this one to be crushing or anything like that. But you'll see that a little bit quicker there on the left. Let's head up into Gemini, and let me do that again because the Pixel was popping a pop-up. We'll do it again. So you see pretty much no difference. We'll go into Subway Surfers, and you see the Samsung much faster in the game department, much quicker. It also is going to have much better performance here as well in graphics. So I have to tell you straight up, if you want a faster gaming phone, there is no question. It is the Samsung Galaxy. Look at this, blowing away, even on the launched speed. In the actual gaming performance as well, not this game. This is a pretty casual game. Any phone can run. But you have a larger screen. So you have a bigger screen on the left. You also do have yourself, let's go to 8-ball pool. You also do have yourself a little bit more RAM on the Pixel, but that's not really going to help too much in the game because you have a better GPU on the Samsung. So I would actually say that if you want to do like gaming of these two, I would pick the Galaxy. You can already see it here. We did get a pop-up there, so we're going to run that one again as well. I don't know why. I check these phones, and I'm telling you, I do the test before the test, and then the minute I get in the speed test, it starts doing these weird pop-ups and just messes it up. So that's why I reload them sometimes. But you can see that this super old game there would definitely load a little quicker on the Samsung. We'll go to Race the Sun. And so far, now that we're getting into games, almost all of the apps are seemingly quicker on the Sammy. But also, they tend to perform a little bit more consistently as well on the Sammy. So let's head into real racing here on both, and we'll see which one can get there first. And it does look like the Pixel's in the lead. Now, this game has actually been giving me, I'm not making excuses for Samsung, but this game has been giving me issues on the S25 Ultra. The Pixel's going to take the win here for sure. But I do believe, and I'm not giving it credit, I just believe this game is not optimized whatsoever for the S25 series. Yeah, it's been doing pretty horrible. I might as well just take out the test until they update it. Let's go into Free Fire. And you can see Free Fire is going to go first to the Samsung. But keep in mind, the Pixel still does a really good job for day-to-day performance. It's not like, it still feels flagship performance. It just doesn't feel like ultra flagship performance, if that makes sense. Let's swipe up out of here. We'll go into Call of Duty, and we'll see which one can launch this first. And mobile games don't really require a heap of power, but what they will do is they can drain your battery or have like make your phone really warm if they're graphically intensive, and that becomes an annoying experience. In that respect, the Samsung is a little bit better than the Pixel as well. It just has better cooling, but the Pixel to me is more of a regular everyday phone, like for pictures, social media, using it out, taking videos, photos. It's just more of a daily driver kind of phone, and I feel like the Ultra is more of a power user beast phone. Let's go into 3D Mark, and you can see slightly quicker on the Samsung. We'll head up into Geekbench 6, and that was faster on the Samsung, and we'll go into Speed Test, and that was faster for the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL, and we'll head into InShot, and that was quicker on the Samsung. So as you expected, with the 8 Elite being the more powerful chip, it actually showed to be more powerful here, just in daily app launching, the things you're going to open every day. As you can see right here in Geekbench 6, the cores are clocked much higher than the Pixel on the Samsung, which could be playing into that. Overall, though, I would say that the Pixel holds its own for being a phone that costs a couple $100 less, but also being a phone that doesn't have the fastest chip out there. It's still holding its own. It's a very well optimized phone, so I really do love it for that. The Samsung doesn't have 16 gigabytes of RAM, but as you can see right here, it still tends to do a really good job when it comes to RAM management. So some have been arguing that you don't even need it. You don't need 16. I say I want 16 for the long haul because these phones are meant for the long haul. So we do have a reload here on 2 games so far. So that was really annoying. I hadn't seen a reload in my prior video, so I'm wondering if those games were kind of like reloading the actual game itself because I wasn't in it long enough or something like that. But definitely this 8-ball pool kind of got stuttered up because we were in the middle of a match, and then Brawl Stars was basically the main reload of the whole thing. Seeing as it has to connect to the servers, that could be why. Let's see how the Pixel performs with more RAM than the Galaxy S25 Ultra. Okay, so let's go ahead and run through the apps here, and so far they look pretty nice. I feel like the animations look choppy though by comparison. I don't know what Samsung did, but they made their app animations look nice. I think it's their non-linear effects, but One UI 7 cleaned things up. So far, the Pixel doing great. So you see this one is reconnecting, so it did the same thing over there, and Brawl Stars doing the same thing. So they're equal. They are equal in what they're doing here in terms of the relaunch. As long as the Pixel stays its course here and gives us what we've seen on the Samsung, we are going to see nearly identical performance. So even with 12 gigs of RAM, the Samsung and the Pixel pretty much matched up here for relaunching all of these applications. Other than that, I mean, you're only going to probably use it, that extra RAM, when you have a ton of apps open. Maybe you're doing some split screen, and both of them will handle this like a breeze. So the Samsung's 12 gig of RAM doesn't really seem like it's holding it back, but the Pixel, I still prefer the 16 GB. So I want to see it on the next Samsung. So the Pixel was giving us a really good run for its money here on the Galaxy, but there is, this is where it comes to an end. 2603 with the overall score. That is 3 times higher on the Samsung for a couple $100 more, but usually you're probably going to do a trade-in and get an instant credit, and sometimes at first you're going to pay more for the Pixel, but not retail. You're paying more for the Ultra. The Ultra is technically a more priced phone, but the instant credits, usually a lot of people are just trading in their phones. So the Samsung, to me, with that 37.14 is going to be the better FPS phone. If we scroll down here, 97% better of other devices on the market and 52% here on the Pixel. So some mid-range price phones would actually beat the Pixel in performance. I'm talking like OnePlus 13R, maybe even some cheaper Samsung phones, like even the base S25, maybe the S24s even would outperform this. So the Pixel really does need to get faster performance. They really do, especially for the price that is being charged. That is really the main concern I have with it. In real world practice, it still does great, don't get it wrong, and the AI performance is really well done. They have custom made the phone to do AI properly, which does perform very well on the Pixel. And the camera is leaps and bounds above most of the Android competition. But from the area of speed, that is like the one Achilles heel for me on the Pixel. If they can get that part done, it's game over. The Pixel is going to the top of the league in terms of the top of the industry in terms of performance. That's the only thing holding it back a little bit from me, because it's been a really great phone. Other than that, really good battery life, great AI, great cameras, really nice build, looks polished, looks premium. But Samsung is not leaving anything on the table. So we're doing great here with both. I'll be back when the Geekbench 6 results are. So our final Geekbench 6 scores results are in for the S25 Ultra, and I wanted to showcase it here that the Pixel is still working on its benchmark. I have 9531 in that multi-core and 2970. Now that's not my highest score. I actually got 9978 on January 25th and 3157. That was prior to doing the test. So sometimes if you do it before the test, you get a higher score. But you can see double the score on the multi, more than double actually. So that is pretty impressive for the Galaxy and the multi. In the single, nearly 1,000 points, actually more than 1,000 points better. So this phone theoretically should perform better than the Pixel in both single and just regular tasks and when you push it. So overall, the Samsung, the faster phone. Not that you needed a video to tell you that if you just look at the spec sheet, but you've seen it here for your eyes to see how they actually do in benchmarks, actual performance. Booting up is quicker on the Pixel, but the app speed is faster on the Samsung. It moves along quicker on the Samsung and has better benchmarks and better gaming performance along with quicker animation. So the Samsung is taking the win in this video. I objectively can't not say that because that's just what it is. So let's go ahead and take a camera photo now on both of them to see which one can launch the camera first, and it looked like the Pixel was ahead. I was on the front camera. Let me do that again. 3, 2, and go. Yep, and the Pixel is a faster camera in terms of launching. However, it does tend to process, because the Pixel has some post-processing to make the photo look better that sometimes takes longer to finish up. However, from a shutter speed perspective, they're both pretty similar, with the Samsung probably giving you a little bit more in-depth controls if you want to get more with the Pro stuff. But Pixel has plenty as well. So both of them are stunning in that department, the camera. That would probably be a fun comparison as well to compare the cameras. So thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know which one you would pick, because even though the speed is ahead on the Samsung, it doesn't mean people would prefer it. So which one would you pick of these two? Down below in the comments. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I'll catch you on the next episode. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.